ladies and gentlemen, the next session will be very relevant to all working parents. Now, one question which bothers all working parents is how do I spend more time with my child? We have with us Neha Dhupia, who's going to shed some light on how she manages this. Well, I am truly excited about the next session. She's not only a successful film and television personality, but also someone I deeply admire and respect. And let me tell you, we worked together, had lots of conversations and laughs together, and each time I come out more enriched. Today promises to be just the same. So, a big hello to fellow parent and supermom, Neha Dhupia. Hi, Neha, what's up? How are you?
Hi Sid, I'm good. Hi Sid. Hi Sid. Hi everybody who's tuned in. And firstly, let me start by saying a big thank you to Extra Marks and special congratulations to each and every one of them for organizing this wonderful weekender. And it's lovely to be here. Lovely to see you. And more than anything else, I just love chatting with you. We've had so many great conversations in the past too. So I'm going to let you take the lead.
So, are you ready to rock and roll?
Absolutely. You know me well enough. When am I not?
You and I have a lot of things in common. We both work in the entertainment business. We're both parents to two adorable children, and we are constantly trying to find more time to spend with our kids. So, the topic that we be chatting on today is professional and personal. Can the two meet? Now, it's actually a lot of significance for you and me both, as I really want some tips and insights from Supermom Neha. So, amidst all this professional commitments that you have, how do you manage to squeeze time for your kids, especially your baby who's like 3 months old?
Okay. Firstly, we do have a lot in common. I know you have two adorable girls, but I have a girl and a boy, so I must specify that. Secondly, big ups to Extra Marks for organizing this wonderful weekender, and most importantly, having conversations that are relevant, having conversations that are important, and answering questions that are usually lurking in parents' minds. Am I the only one who's trying to strike the right balance? Am I the only one suffering from mom guilt or dad guilt because I'm away at work? Then we try and cajole and satisfy ourselves in our own heads, saying that, hey, but we're doing this for our kids. But then you also are like, how do I find the balance? And in the midst of finding this whole balance, even when we do end up finding it, we kind of are there for our kids and we're there for our work, but then we lose ourselves somewhere. And then, we wake up half a decade later saying, damn, what did I do for myself? Lots and lots of things actually are there in people's minds. For me, the most important thing is about, everybody finds the balance extremely differently. Is everyone suffering from mom guilt or dad guilt when they go to work? For the ones who are saying they don't, I promise you they're lying, because everybody suffers from it. I know, Sid, you suffer from it. I know that, I suffer from it. I know my own husband suffers from it. But the point is, you've got to do it. I'm somebody who kind of, bounce back to work pretty early. And am I differentiating myself from other moms? No. Every mom is amazing. Every mom is a super mom. The ones who decide to stay at home and make sure that they complete their maternity leave, or any parent who completes their paternity leave and decides to stay at home, they're amazing too. If you're a hands-on parent, you're amazing. If you're a hands-off parent, you're amazing. So we're not having this conversation because we want to qualify or disqualify a certain parent. So that's my biggest disclaimer. And the other part is about finding the balance. The other part is, how do I do it? For me, I think the one thing that my kids have taught me is time management. Like, maybe I wouldn't be able to manage time as well if I didn't have my kids, because then, there's no concept of when you want to come back from work, or you finish shooting for something and you're on a set, you're discussing things outside your trailer. That's it, you've been there. And when you're like, okay, let me put in a few extra hours, or even if you go to the gym or doing something for yourself, you're like, hey, let me push myself another 30 minutes. So it's about making sure that you manage your time well, making sure that wherever you are, and it's okay, like during weekdays, even if you have an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours with your kids. My point is, it's okay to delegate. It's okay to hire and ask for help for your children, But when you're with your kids for those 1 hour or 2 hours, be there 100%. Then, don't oscillate between child and Instagram and social media and all of that. Then be there. I mean, a lot of us work digitally, we work from home. There are lots of things that you need to do. So, right now I'm also sitting at home. I know that you're probably sitting at home or office, and we're trying to have this conversation. So wherever you are, when you're trying to work, then be there 100%, because that's going to make you a better parent. And when you're with your kid, be there 100%, because that's going to make you want to go back to work. So I feel like just giving yourself 100% in what you're doing. And the second and most important thing is figuring out how to manage time. I thought it was easy till I had two kids. So, big ups to people who have one kid, but then even bigger ups to people who have two kids. And yeah, it's and with a newborn, it's harder because we Angad and I both believe in sharing responsibility and being equal parents to our children. But when you have a newborn, there's not much you can the father can actually do. The value add of the father is much lesser, because you're like, you have this beautiful little being, from everything from, like, being his comfort, to his warmth, to being his food source. The mother is just, you know needs to be there just way more than the father. So the initial few months are always harder.
Well, you've totally nailed one thing which is in my head, the father guilt, which you've read through me, and we all go through it, and it's just absolutely natural. Also, please give a heart to all the parents watching this event. Also, yeah, we all deserve the heart too. Now, I'm sure you must have received a lot of reactions when you immediately resumed work after your deliveries. What were the kind of reactions you were receiving from people?
I mean, people have a lot of opinions. I feel like, let's go back a little bit. During my first pregnancy, a lot of people had opinions about how I should deal with my pregnancy and when I should go back to work. The best thing about being pregnant the second time over is nobody's giving you advice, because the minute somebody gives you advice, you're like, hey, I've already been through this. You have that face on. But yes, a lot of opinions. Like, I told somebody that, I was literally, after having my first baby, within 2 hours, I was like replying to emails. I didn't get back to work. I got back like to shoot around on the ninth day. But after having our son, I was sitting right here where we are, and our bedroom is right here. I just had to walk a few steps, come, but I did shoot. I was shooting um, for like a work from home situation where I did work on day 6. A lot of people are like, oh, itni jaldi kya hai? Thoda der ruk jao. Kuch kaam kahin bhaga to nahi ja raha. Or like, a lot of people also are like, hey, get back into shape before you get back to work. So opinions. And then there are enough and more people who are also raising the flag and saying that yay, like, you've done it and this is great, and just look after yourself. But my point is, Sid, a happy parent raises happy children. So if a large part of you is defined by your work, and I would say that for even you or me, I mean, we're defined, we are like, even my bio on social media says actor, mother of two, founder, Freedom to Feed, producer, all of that. So this is part of what I do. I've, my acting or my production work and all of that. So why would I want to lose that just because I've had children? I feel like my professional dreams should not cancel out because of my personal goals. So as a woman, if I want to have children, does not mean that, oh, I have to stop working and sitting at home. Again, my disclaimer is that it's okay if you want to sit at home. That's also fantastic. But people have a lot of opinions, and I don't think you need to listen to that. I feel like, for me, the big achievement would be if my life can go back to being almost as close to what it was when I wasn't a parent. Because though that's what made me who I am till now. And being a mom is another, like, feather in my cap, is another achievement, is another new chapter, all of that. But I want to have the same set of friends. I want to have the ability to go out. I want to be charged with work. I want to get this adrenaline rush when I go and work out or I work. So I don't want to skip the things that I want to do. But yes, maybe in a different degree or a different variant. I can't at a whim pack my bags and say I'm going away for a 3 month schedule. I'll have to plan for it. That's the only thing. So if there are any producers looking at signing me for the next 6 months for a big show, please, just give me some time.
When I produce my next big show, I will keep these things in mind when I'm casting you.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you.
Listen, do you follow a particular schedule to strike that balance between your personal and professional life?
Yes, absolutely. You have to. Like, I have my son is barely 3 months old. He's 2.5 months old. So I'm constantly feeding him every 4 hours. I have my daughter who's 3 years old. So she needs. I have to feed her with love and attention and all of that. For all the other hands-off work, I always say this, that behind every working woman, there are many working women. So I have somebody who, like, look after the food at home, or I'll have somebody who look after my daughter. But there are things that as a mom, I'm like, okay, these are the things that I do. So bedtime, no matter what, is on me, unless I'm traveling for that one off day, or dropping her to school or picking her up, is on me. So there's always that one, about an hour she has post dinner, from like 7:30 to 8:30 before she gets into bed. That's my focused, concentrated time. Or in the morning before lunch, between like 11:30 and 12:30. So I'm just like, these are the things that I want to do with my daughter. So I have to have a schedule around my son's fees as well. Now, the important part of the question that you said, how do you manage personal time? And the minute you say personal, and when you're a mother of two, a lot of people think that personal is just time spent with kids. But a large part of it is spending time for yourself. So when you're a happy parent, you raise happy children. So self-care is important, even if it means going for an hour to the gym. It's important. Or locking yourself up in the room and just like doing yoga, or just I don't know if a lot of people agree with this or not, but just uh, vegetating and watching television, because that half an hour of just watching random content can make you feel sane. And the most important thing of personal life is, don't neglect your partner, your husband, or your wife, because kids have a way of consuming you so much that you forget. And just a few years later, then you just realize how routine your life has become. So I was talking to Angad the other day, and many years ago I saw this film called Date Night with Steve Carell and Tina Fey. Of course, a lot of stuff happens. It's a comedy film, but that one scene initially where they work towards or committing that they need to have that one date night without the kids. And I wasn't a parent then, and I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, what's the big deal about taking our time when you have kids? Or what's the big deal in just going out? But it is so important. And it's almost remedy, cure, therapy, all of that in your relationship. And Angad and me make it a point that we need to have that one, like, sushi dinner every week without the kids, where we just like are just there. Like, it's our date night, and we do it weekly, no matter what. And sometimes he's flying in, I'm flying out. We even match times, like, from airports, but we do it. Sid, these things are very, very important to stay as close to the person you were when you didn't have kids, and then to fit kids into your routine and make sure you're there with them 100%.
I relate to two things. One is, of course, the our time, husband wife time, friendship time.
Yes.
And the other aspect is just don't lose your individuality, right? That's very, very important. Like watching TV and vegetating also is very therapeutic.
So true. It's so therapeutic, and it's almost like, and when you talk about us time, it's not about going out with another, like, three couples who have kids, because on those tables also you're discussing the same things about your children. Have those nights also, discuss that also, like, have that also. But just like spend time with your spouse, your partner, your husband, your wife. Those things are so important. Or like, you know make it a point to like, and with every pregnancy, and most women would agree with me, is that you put on so much of weight, and then there's the fourth trimester that you're living in, which I'm living in right now. And maybe because I've been through it, so I'm dealing with it differently. And it just means that take 60 minutes off, get back on your feet, go for that walk. And everything doesn't have to be about your children, but when you're with your children, everything should be about them, and that's how you make your routine and your time work.
Yes, stay focused on what you have in your hand at that very time. Well, I always believe that, big organizations, corporate entities should get more sensitized to employees or professionals who are trying to juggle their work life and their personal life as well. Do you feel the same?
I do feel the same. Like a large part of it is that, how much leave should a new mom get, or how much leave should a new dad get? And I feel like even paternity leave is so important because they actually are at home helping not just the newborn, they're also helping their partners, because I feel like new moms go through so much. It's a new life for them as well. And at that point, more than anyone else, you need your husband around. You need that one man who will just understand everything. You don't want to be around anyone, especially when you're having a bad day, you're hormonal, you have so much going on. And I feel like I can be so vocal about all these things because I'm there. Like, you don't want to be like, even if it means like feeding your child at 3 in the morning, and after that, like, I just tell Angad, can you just like burp him so he doesn't get colic? And when you're walking around, grab me something from the kitchen, or you get so thirsty because you get parched because you're breastfeeding, all of that. And I just feel like corporates also, like, I'm a mother I'm also a founder of a parenting community called Freedom to Feed, where we talk about everything from equal parenting to all parent related issues, and a large part of it is breastfeeding, and corporates need to be sensitized towards that as well. Those are choices that moms need to make, and just because moms need to go back to work earlier than usual, it shouldn't be an option because they don't have enough feeding rooms, or your bring your child to work day can't be one day in the year. They should be allowed to like come back to work. Luckily, I'm in a profession where suddenly work from home also became so much more acceptable that I can have a tight frame and continue looking after my child at the same time. But when you're in a corporate setup, a, leave is important. B, when you're coming back from leave, I just feel like you have to be so much more sensitive towards a new mom and a new parent's needs.
I always believe in this golden theory of my wife, Neha, and no wonder my friend Neha Dhupia and my wife Neha have such a beautiful place in my heart because both of you
We
are
always have
wonderful
this
in whatever you do.
conversation about, yeah.
We've had this,
How is
yes. She's doing very, very good. She's taking care of three babies, including me. So that's a tough task, being the biggest baby.
yeah.
But we love the joyride of co-parenting. But do you and Angad also have like this rule thing that, Angad, you take care of this when it comes to the child, I take care of this when it comes to the child, or do you flow into it effortlessly when it comes to co-parenting?
No, not at all. We actually have no assigned duties whatsoever. So it's not like, hey, if I do this, then you do this. And there are no like ifs, buts, spaces, marks, calendars, all of that. So on a certain day, I do driving duty and he does diaper duty, or he does, things that which are usually sort of cliches that a mom can do, and then there are cliches that a dad should be doing. No, like sometimes when she wants to, my daughter, like tomorrow morning she wants to go to the horses, and she's very fond of animals, so we try and keep her very close to and very acquainted to animals, and then she wants to do that, so I'm just like, okay, I'll take you, because then I can be on my feet and I can get to walk around and be around my hair, whereas he's at home looking after our son. So there are no, I feel like, say, the thing about equal parenting, or the thing about co-parenting is, um, we need to have conversations around it, but we need to stop rewarding the father for doing something. And that's where, as a society, we amplify a chore done by a father. I mean, no offense to fathers who are working, and it needs to be a fair and equal place. It's not like, um, for instance, and these examples don't come with homes like yours and mine, because it doesn't happen, but it does happen in different homes where you're like, ओ आज पता है उसके पापा ने उसका डायपर भी चेंज किया, फिर उसके पापा ने उसको नहलाया भी, फिर उसके पापा ने बॉटल से उसको दूध भी पिलाया, कितना अच्छा है उसका पापा. No, don't do that. I feel that childbirth and living with the a crying, like the baby is crying for different needs till the baby can actually start communicating, till that phase is over, it's so lopsided towards the mother, and the mother has to do so much more in any case. And then you see so many changes in you, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that. And then suddenly there'll be one diaper change that's done by the father, and then all the relatives in the world are talking about it. That's not co-parenting. Co-parenting is silently, effortlessly slipping into what your job is supposed to be, which is, I say, almost it should almost be like 70-30, because the mother also needs to rest, and the mother needs to recuperate, and the mother's just come out of this massive surgery, just leave alone anything else. And they say that the worst form of torture is sleep deprivation, and I'm living through that right now, because I don't sleep at night because my baby's awake and I have to feed and all of that. I feel just basis on that, all the other work should be done by the father, all of it.
No, I agree with you. I'm being a dad myself. I completely agree with you. Like, you might be sleep deprived now, but you're giving your 100% to this conversation. You're giving your 100% to your work. You're giving your 100% to your child as well. So I want,
I just think it's important, to have these conversations.
and I want people out there to give a thumbs up on the chat box to co-parenting. But remember, not glorifying the father as a superhero, because जैसे नेहा ने कहा, अरे diaper change किया उन्होंने. So it's all should be very natural, and it's a way of life for both the father and the mother as well. Lockdown, Neha, has been very, very tough on everybody. For a father to see his daughter not being able to go to birthday parties, for a mother not being able to see the child mingling with friends, which is the natural course of life, was very, very tough for all of us out there. How did you and Angad handle this?
Initially, Sid, it was very hard, but then later on we just decided we're going to slip into routine. We never for a moment took away from routine. So if it means waking up in the morning, and of course her online classes started, we enrolled her in different online classes, so whether it was music, keeping her engaged, but only for that much screen time. And then of course teaching her with like things at home, so whether it was just, at that time she was in her sensory phase, so she was learning like arts, crafts, textures, materials, all of that. And first I would train, because I was like, hey, I'm going to make sure that I come out of this lockdown much fitter. The first lockdown, in fact, I lost 18 kgs. And to say that we lived through a pandemic and was it pleasant? Not at all. But were we focusing and staying positive? Yes, we were 100%.
Was it really, in fact, doubly hard for both of you because you were pregnant during the lockdown this year?
Oh, yeah, the second pregnancy happened during the lockdown. Sorry, I spoke about the first one. The second pregnancy happened during the lockdown, and I had mild COVID then. And, we were kind of, I was isolated with Meher. So I was wearing a mask, sleeping on the floor, because and then 9 other family members of ours got COVID immediately. But, you kind of just work around it. At that point, it seems like it was very hard. Just being isolated for 14 days was the hardest part, because it was mild, so we didn't have too many symptoms or anything. But now when you look back, think about it, I see our son, I see our daughter, and everyone sailed through it. It seems like a distant, scary memory, and the sooner you forget, the better it is. But I genuinely can't believe that as a race we're living through a pandemic, and as a race we've managed to fight it. And you just have to stay strong. And this message is for everyone out there, and especially parents. Don't let yourself be bogged down by this, because there could be another lockdown, there could not be another lockdown. It'll all trickle down to your kids. So stay strong for yourself and stay strong for your children as well.
I want to do a flashback. How was your childhood? Were you a rule breaker? Did you manage to strike that brilliant balance between studying and hobbies? And did you have a strict routine?
So I grew up in a Fauji home. My dad was in the Navy, and of course, we had routine for lots of things, but it was not all work and no play for us, because sports were a huge emphasis in our life. And my dad was in the Navy, and we were born and raised in Kerala. So from like going sailing with my dad to like swimming and playing squash and badminton and basketball, it was all really, really important. And so was paying emphasis to all your skills and your social skills and co-curricular skills and your academic skills. All of that was important. And I had no idea when I was growing up I was going to become an actor. I had no idea that I was going to go in for Miss India. I just knew one thing, and that's what I was I was raised to believe, that hard work. I get this from my mother a lot, that work hard. It's not, you don't have to live a result oriented life. You have to work hard, be honest when you go to work. And that's what I would do even with my school. Like, it's not like I had to ace my exam, but I had to work hard towards saying that, hey, look back and be like, would I have done it better? Would I have done it differently? And then you're like, no, I gave it my best honest shot. And that's how everything in life should be. And after that, it's place, time, someone else's luck, there's fortune. There are things that are not in your control. But just being honest to yourself, working hard, these are things that are in your control. And that's the value system that I've been raised with. So, yeah. And of course, when we were growing up, we didn't have, extra marks, or we didn't have, any of this. So I feel like that's the one point that I got left out on. And also, to go back to your earlier question about the pandemic, the one thing that we all realized that screen time for kids is totally okay, and medically proven too. So as long as it's in limits, there's nothing wrong with it. So parents have to understand that the online world and giving your kids screen time, all of this is going to be a part of life now.
I know, and like I say, that live for the moment. Just don't let it bother you so much in your head that your dynamics go haywire. And like I say, we've survived and we'll always be survivors. Now, in 2 days of extra marks, as you know as well, we've laid a lot of emphasis on learning. How would you define learning when it came to your children?
For me, I feel like learning needs to be letting them understand a version of what it means to them. So like, for instance, if I gave them say wooden blocks, let them explore, let them understand, and it's the new version, or everybody else is also talking about, as long as it's like, it's led by what they think, like, even if it takes time, as long as they learn what they really want to learn. And I can't turn around and say at 3, oh yeah, my daughter's going to become a musician, or my daughter's going to end up becoming a doctor. As long as there's no pressure on learning, as long as there's interest in learning, and most importantly, as long as teaching them something, or them learning something, makes us understand what their interests are, b, their skill is, and and what makes it fun. Like, everything is not bookish, everything doesn't have to be I love logic driven learning, and for me, like, if my kids are interested in that, it would be amazing.
But like you say, just let them flow with it. That's more important, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I have been told that you obviously have a lot of emphasis on discipline and practice. I know that because I see you almost every couple of weeks. and you've been at it for so many years, and that cannot happen without practice and discipline. How much of these two qualities would you attribute to learning?
I feel that practice and discipline are the most important thing, and I just feel that um, it needs to be practice. It can't be an either or. Like it has to be a fine balance, a combination of both. There are days that you need to be disciplined about learning something, and there are days that you need to practice that one skill that you have learned. So it has to be a fine balance. And does it imply in my life? Absolutely. I did, a few questions ago answer saying that hard work is important, honesty is important, and then it cannot be result oriented. And likewise, when you have qualities like this, when you talk about discipline or when you talk about practice, it's not these are not result oriented practices. This is not goal driven, but you'll be shocked as to how much more you can achieve when you actually have this in your life. So now um, it also is, it's raising our kids for the future, and you don't know what the future holds, but if you have these qualities, they're going to go a long way.
Talking about qualities, what would be those three qualities that you would like your children to imbibe or impart to them, and especially those that you probably believe have made you who you are as a mother or as a professional as well?
Oh, for sure, hard work. I feel like I've worked really, really hard. I feel like my ability to work hard is way higher than my skill set. So, am I the best dancer? Am I the best actor? No, not at all. Am I somebody who works hard? Yes. You ask me to get up and work even at like 4 in the morning, and then you ask me to, like, travel to another country at like 6 p.m. on the same day, and at the same time come back, feed my kid, look after my daughter, make sure all her things are organized. I will do that, Sid, because I really, really believe that I work hard. But you asked me to break down for a scene in a way that it could go for an Oscar nomination. I don't think so, because I may not have the skill set. But do I have the skill set to work hard? Yes. Do I have the skill set to be honest at what I do? Yes, absolutely. So these are the qualities I want to give to my children, and I feel that strong, independent parents raise strong, independent children, and that's another quality that I want to pass on to my son and daughter both. And the one thing that I taught my daughter, and it's not got so much to do with qualities and value, is the first word I taught her. And I was like, I have to teach her how to say bus or enough. So whether somebody's forcing food down her throat, she should know where to draw the line, and the other person across should know that she has a mind of her own. Whether it's somebody even doing something as silly as pulling her cheeks or tickling her or playing, she knows exactly where to say no, and I'm so proud that at 3, when she's done, she's done. So whether it's playtime or whether she wants to go to sleep or bedtime or whatever, she's like, bus, enough, I'm done. So I love that.
Well, I want all the parents who are watching this show right now, please write on the chat box and tell us what are the qualities that you impart or want your children to imbibe. Please put that on the chat box. We're all sharing our infos, what we feel. So I'm watching your chat box. So many messages coming right away. Now, if you look at your social media, which I admire a lot, you're using it so rightly. You're using it to be open about your struggles with parenting as well. Does it make you feel a little bit more stronger when you feel, yes, there are other parents like me also who are expressing their struggles with parenting? And do you think that it forms a sense of camaraderie between you and other parents and makes you all one?
Sid, you spoke, so you've answered the question in your question itself. And does it make me feel stronger to put my life out there as a parent? No, actually, whenever it happens in a weak moment. So I remember the first time I left my son and daughter, and then I put it out there that I was expressing milk every 3.5 hours. I was with my mom. I was gone to Kufri for an event, going flying, and going by road on those winding roads. But I had to do it. I had to do it for my son. I had to do it for myself. So whenever you put out a strong emotion, it's always written at a weak moment. And do you wait for acknowledgement or feedback or approval of people on social media. Actually, I don't. But I want to reach out to anybody else who's in the same position as I am, who's probably going through that. And that one message or that one DM or those 10 parents who are like, who write on your wall saying that, hey, we know this, or we've been through this, and we're living this right now. And you know that, you've spoken their mind, and you know that you're there for them and they're there for you. It just makes you feel special. And that's why I also have, again, I want to mention our community, Freedom to Feed. And it's about parenting, and people talk about, like, moms and dads talk to us about everything. And what's interesting is that when you put out something at like 3 in the morning, you get the maximum number of moms actually responding to you, because they're awake, either nursing their child or something else. And then if you put something out at 6 p.m., no mother or father actually has the time. So you get messages at really random hours, and you know that you're awake for your child and they're awake for their children, and everyone's there for each other.
Wow, one gang, one power. Well, I want to talk about social media because we are also very, very active here. So I want all our friends who are watching this show right now, please head over to Extra Marks Weekend of Photo Booth. Click some very cool pictures, upload them on Facebook or Instagram using hashtag EM Weekender. The best pick stand to win some amazing prizes. Okay, you can even click our pictures. Let's do this.
Yeah. Hashtag EM Weekender. Can somebody just like add EM Weekender ahead?
Come on, we want to see all those hashtags on social media. Now, you and me have come at a time when a lot of people are juggling 101 things. It's a time when life is like a roller coaster. Do you think our parents had it easier or tougher while raising our generation of kids? Strong and independent is what I define you, Neha Dhupia. What would be that one advice you'd like to give your children so that they become as strong and independent like you?
I mean, I think it's on me, right? I don't think it's about me giving advice to my children. If I want to raise my son and my daughter as strong and independent, and a couple of other values, I mean, honest, hardworking, respectful. We have a daughter at home. The value system in our house is, it needs to trickle down from Angad and me. We have a son at home. The value system in our house needs to trickle down from Angad and me. And I just feel that, um, even when we didn't have our first kid, when we would talk about becoming parents, we never had this aspiration. Oh, when we have our children, this is where that they're going to go, and this university is where they're going to go, and this is what they're going to do, and this is what we were just like. We just want to raise children with a great value system, to know how to respect themselves, elders around them, there's a very old saying ki naam roshan karna hai. And naam roshan is not ki this is it doesn't happen with the amount of money you make. It happens with the deeds you do, the person you become. And the वो पंजाबी में होता है ना, तुम्हारी पीठ बोलती है. When you leave the room, the nice things that people say about you. And those are the kind of children we want to have. And for us, we're both raised. One is raised in a Fauji home. The other, my husband comes from a cricketing family. We both believe in like values that are extremely important to us, which we're going to make sure that our children imbibe.
ये नाम रोशन करना, जब मैं लखनऊ में हुआ करता था, मेरे इर्द गिर्द मैंने बहुत सुना हुआ, and that used to put a lot of pressure on everyone around.
Pressure, yes. But it's not that. I just feel that naam roshan karna is not that koi bahut bada kaam karna and all that. For us, naam roshan karna is just to be good human beings,
Oh, that's the awe moment in our conversation. Of course, अच्छे इंसान बनो. What's that one advice you want to give to the parents who are watching us, who've gone through the same concerns, same trials, tribulations that you and I have gone through as parents?
So, I feel that our generation of parents were actually raised between the old world and new world. So, to strike that balance, to not and I can say this for this entire bracket of parents like you and me and the ones watching, and I know that a large demographic is similar parents to us, that don't put your child under the same pressure that we've been raised. We all were raised under certain kind of pressure. I feel like realize what your child wants to do, then give your child direction in that specific way, and don't live your missed dreams, goals, aspirations through your children. Let them be, let them, like, it's like a khulli choot do, and then let them just grow and have fun, and understand that different ages are for different things. Now if you don't experience, एक तो टेरेबल टूज नहीं होता है, टेरेबल थ्रीज होता है. टूज में तो कुछ ज्यादा तंग नहीं करते हैं. दैट्स द रॉन्ग थिंग. माय डॉटर इज 3 and going through that, but these days are not going to come back. These moments are not going to come back. So I'm saying that शुरू से अपने बच्चे को प्रेशर में मत डालो. That's the only thing. And then enjoy, whether it's the learning process, whether it's the teaching process, whether it's having fun, whether it's a holiday, whatever it is, just enjoy your time with your child. Like, don't be stressed out about parenting. It's not something that needs to stress you out. It's something that you need to enjoy. You just like, you nurture them, you give birth to them. It's literally your heart beating outside your body. So make the most of these learning years. It's just beautiful.
Talking about enjoyable times, when you were a kid, share some enjoyable moment or a naughty moment that you did, which is still very fresh in your head. It might have been an enjoyable moment for you, but for your parents, it may not have been the most enjoyable moment.
I think sailing with my dad when I was very young in Kerala. So we would go on sailboats and stuff like that. That was very enjoyable and very adventurous. And I'd just be like, wow. And my dad was in the Navy. So sometimes we would get permission to go on the ship. So I would just be amazed at how enormous and beautiful it is to be on a ship. And, just having years when you're growing up and going on spending a Sunday afternoon on a ship just makes you believe that your dad is just the coolest. And of course, when we moved to Delhi, road trips, मतलब हम अपनी गाड़ी में सब कुछ भर लेते थे, सब कुछ, खाना पीना, बर्तन, सूटकेस, plates, ये वो कहीं पे भी उतरो, there would be like the doors would open and then half the house would fall out because as kids, me and my brother would be sitting at the back, my parents in front, and we would just be like, okay, now let's go on a trip, because there are lots of hill stations around Delhi. So road trips when we were in Delhi, and then going sailing with my dad when we were in Kerala, it was just a fabulous life.